For a long time now, here on the broadcast, we've been talking about the story of Joseph in the book of Genesis. And I think that most of the time when we think about him, we just think good things. That he was just a remarkable young man who just really allowed God to work in his life, and he handled himself well, he presented himself well, and God used him and promoted him along the way to where he finally came to this position of power as the governor and second in command in all of Egypt, and one of the most powerful men in the world. But the thing is, like everybody, there are times in our lives where perfection is not what we do. And there are times in your life and my life, and I have to confess, I've had these times to where I would take things out of God's hands and just place them squarely in my own. Kind of like saying, well, God, I have trusted you with this long enough, and you just haven't followed through. And so now it's time for me to take control of this thing. And I will admit that in times in my life when I've done that, that's some of the most worst circumstances that have come out of it. Things that I've paid for even down the road. So here, Joseph, he wants his younger brother to be with him. For some reason or other, he's not chosen yet to reveal himself to his other brothers. And so here's a little scheme. I'll put this silver cup, or have my servants do it, in Benjamin's sack, and then I'll say, he has to come back, and he will forever be a servant in my house, and the brothers can go on to their father. But these brothers were not having any part of this. Because you see, these years have gone by, and they've carried this burden, this sin in their heart all these years, and they've struggled with it, and they've been convicted. But yet they have not had the nerve to tell their father what really happened. So they've lived this lie. So all of these years, they're not going to go back and look their father in the eye another time and say, hey, that man has taken your son, and he's going to be a servant. He's going to be in bondage, and you'll never, ever see him again. They were not going to do this. But yet Joseph was prepared to live this out. And you see, this is how we get in trouble. When we take things out of God's hands and we put it in our own, and we begin to work out our own little plots and ways of how we're going to manipulate this thing. And I'm just here to tell you, it always backfires on you. It always does. It always leads to bad things whenever we take things out of God's hands. So this is just a message that I've just given to you, my friend. Things that I've learned along the way. And I'm just here to tell you that either you believe that God is in control and that he has the plan and he's going to work it all out. Either you believe in the power of God and his ability to work things in our lives, or you don't. There's no halfway here. Either you believe that he is, or you do not. And if you don't believe, then that's a problem. It's Pastor Jack King with the gospel on the radio broadcast.